Have you ever tried making kimchi but it's got too salty or too mushy? Don't blame yourself. Chances are you just used the wrong salt. When it comes to kimchi, choosing the right salt is so important. I cannot emphasize it enough. So you went to a Korean grocery store to buy salt and found an aisle with huge selection of different salt like this? It is confusing. So we will look through 4 different types of Korean salt you will find in Korean grocery store. Koreans have used salt to ferment and preserve food like kimchi, soybean paste, fish sauce for more than 1,000 years and have found the quality of salt affects flavor greatly, especially in fermentation. That's why we choose salt with extra care when we make kimchi. The most important salt for Korean is natural sea salt, which is harvested in the southwest coastline of Korea by evaporating seawater in a natural way. This sun-dried sea salt is rich in mineral and nutrients thanks to mudflat which stretches along Korean west coast, so it has unique rich flavor. It's called chanilyeom. After it's harvested, it has to be stored in the salt warehouse, usually for 2 to 3 years, to let the bittern drain to the wooden floor naturally. The longer the better, otherwise the salt will taste bitter. This is why we like to find sea salt like aged 3 years or more. Since it's all natural and not processed, this coarse sea salt is the best for fermentation. This is what we use when we make kimchi. French Guérande is the most similar salt to Korean coarse sea salt in the way it's harvested and in composition, but it's pricey. We always claim Korean sea salt is too underestimated. So we consider some of other sea salt you can substitute for Korean sea salt in case you can't find Korean one easily. Sodium level of Korean coarse sea salt is lower than most of the salt varieties, and some of them out there has a lot higher sodium level than Korean one. When we cook, we usually measure salt by volume. So we made a chart to show you amount of sodium per quarter teaspoon of several sea salt. You see, they are so different in sodium level. So if you use non-Korean sea salt for kimchi, check out the sodium level and adjust the amount. But never use table salt for kimchi. Table salt is mostly heavily processed to eliminate mineral and usually contains additives to prevent clumping. If you use this for kimchi, it'll get too salty or mushy soon. Next one is called gossogum, which means flour salt. This is what can confuse you the most. The grain looks a little bit coarse and it often says chanilyeom on the package, but it's definitely different from coarse sea salt. Since coarse sea salt is kind of raw salt, it has not only mineral, also some impurities. So gossogum is kind of reproduced salt by dissolving coarse sea salt in water and then filtering and recrystallizing it to get purer salt. So chanilyeom on the package is not a lie, but non-Korean sea salt might be blended for this. This salt is purer, which means saltier. Gossogum is commonly used for cooking. Next one is roasted salt, which is called 구운 소금. When natural sea salt is roasted on a high heat to dry out bitterness and impurities, it tastes smoother. This is good for cooking and best as table salt. It's my favorite for cooking. Last one is 맛소금. 맛 means flavor, 소금 means salt. Sounds good? Actually, it's MSG added salt. Never ever substitute this for regular use of salt. If you don't mind use of MSG, add just a little bit of this for extra boost of flavor, but not that much. Hope you will not feel confused in front of salt aisle in Korean grocery store.